welcome once again to All Night ASMR. I'm Robert Knight, and this is my week. I was really grateful to see the response to the video I uploaded on Monday, my little extra special this week. So thank you for everyone who watched and commented. As usual, liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment really helps the channel. And that video specifically gave me some great ideas of things that I want to do in the future. So stay tuned till the end of this video for this week's secret code, the second code this week. And those will be a regular edition going forward on the Friday video. And a little more housekeeping. I know I mentioned that my Patreon was going to be up soon. I've had a little bit of an issue with deciding if I want to go there or Ko-Fi or Ko-fi, however you say it. I might just do both, but that's something that I'm still kind of actively researching, so please hang tight, and that will be up and running. I'm sure that I'll give an update in one of these videos once everything is actually set up, do like an announcement, This week has been very busy for someone who does this, pretty much full-time right now. I celebrated a birthday this week, so that was nice. I got to hear from family and friends and get lots of birthday wishes. I don't really want to talk about how old I am, but I've had enough birthdays where I don't really feel like I need to do anything incredibly special to celebrate, so it was kind of a quiet day, which was pretty much what I wanted. And I'm really looking forward to this being a better year than some of the ones I've had leading up to this point. It's off to a strong start. So that's nice. And frankly, this channel and you are part of that. I really feel like I maybe say this too much, but it really makes me feel very nice to hear all of the comments and everything that people say, all the things that people say about the channel, and that really means a lot to me. This is really fun. I also realize that I still have my headphones on, which I typically take off for these, but let's just do this one with them on. I'll make sure that you guys get a little bit more consistent audio. Today, I wanted to talk about productivity. It's been something that's been on my mind, both as someone who relies on self-moderating their productivity for this channel, and also someone who's struggled with productivity through points in my professional life and a lot of my personal life. I think that it can be very easy to prioritize things that you need to do over things you want to do. But for me, I did have to realize at one point that the things I want to do are, as a whole, something that I need to do. You can't just always be productive for somebody else's sake. Sometimes you really do need to force yourself into making sure that you're taking care of yourself and your joy, because there's never going to be a shortage of people who want to, take your attention or prioritize their needs over yours. And a lot of times there's no one to advocate for what you need other than yourself. And this is something that I have kind of had in the front of my mind for some time, as I kind of figure out strategies to help myself, but also is something that I started thinking about yesterday, watching another ASMR creator and a TV who's doing ASMR content now. And in her video, she was talking about how anxiety keeps her from uploading. And I really, really relate to that a lot, because sometimes I've felt really, really nervous, or sometimes I don't really like the way I look or sound in a video. And it has to be a conscious choice to not only upload it, but also upload it in the time I want to, which is really, really crucial for newer channels, for younger channels, because that consistency is how you show that you're serious about what you do or what you put on the platform. And for me, well, let me back up. I think that for any sort of advice, there's not like a one size fits all sort of idea or recommendation that works for everybody. Everyone has different standards of what works for them, and everyone has different things that resonate with them. But for me, I think that it has really, really just been that I need to not be hard on myself, but I need to be more gracious with the negative parts of myself. And in that same voice, push myself to just do things that I otherwise feel are going to fail. Sometimes these videos, I don't feel like they land exactly how I want to. I don't feel like I've put as much time into them as I want to. And not to say that I don't, because I am getting a lot better at those things. But that's also kind of my point, is that you don't get better at something from just waiting on it and sitting on it and waiting for it to get better in your head. You get better and more confident with something by embracing the shortcomings and the failures and the mistakes and the little chips and nicks and scuffs that come along with it. I think that has been the road for me with a lot of things, to understand how I progress, how I get better. And I mean, kind of like I alluded to, this channel is a great example of that, because I had a few videos to start, and it would be that I would basically spend an entire week setting up gear, planning and writing a video, doing lots of elaborate camera work, having lots of props. And then I would get to editing and find maybe one little thing that I didn't like about it, or feel like I didn't like the way I said that, so I want to reshoot it, or I didn't spend enough time focusing on this angle and I don't like it. And then I would just scrap the video. I have tons of footage that are all just things like that. And that eventually is what came to prevent me from uploading so much. There's practically a year where I didn't do much of anything. Now, I mean, granted, there were other factors in that. At the time, I was living somewhere that was not safe like literally in an unstable apartment. So it was a pretty big challenge to move around and to do things. So that was an issue. But that time really kind of let me reset and realize how much I was crippling myself by focusing so much on these ultimately little details when really the focus is to make sure that you're consistent, to make sure that you are putting out content in the world. With any sort of creative endeavor, especially if you're still kind of finding your footing. I mean, that's part of the process, is figuring out what resonates with people, figuring out what your talents are within a space. Frankly, I'm still finding that, but I am seeing a lot more progress by just kind of throwing things at the wall, seeing what sticks. Really, the way that you find your footing is by just throwing things at the wall. You can't really get out of your head and step away from those sort of mistakes if you're always just looking inward to find what works and what doesn't. The way that you find your stride, find your confidence, is by putting things out there and really just kind of finding the places in your content, the things that you do that people really resonate with, and then lean into that. And that's something that, I mean, even this week, it's poignant, not just because I've had it in the front of mind, because I watched this video, but also because that's the point I'm starting to get at with this, is where you as an audience are starting to tell me things that you like, things that you don't like. I can see through trends, like what kind of videos are getting views, what ones aren't. It's not to say that I'm going to stick to just one thing. I do kind of, as I've talked about before, I want to have a lot of variety in what I bring to the table, especially on the Tuesday uploads, because part of that is because I just want to try different things and see what I like doing the most. But the other part of it is because that allows me to appeal to different audiences and find my footing with what I do best. And as scary as that was a year ago, now that's something that's really, really exciting to me. It feels kind of like I'm on this adventure and finding part of myself in that. And you are very actively helping me do that. So that's kind of the main thought I have around productivity. But that's not the only thing. I do also try different strategies, different tools to enhance productivity. And I'll be the first to admit I'm really, really bad at staying consistent. I mean, kind of, it might be obvious with what I've been saying, but the important thing is trying, right? And there are a lot of tools that if you just try, eventually they stick the same way. So one thing I've been trying to do is use a planner. This is a Hobonichi Techo 2025. You can't really see it, but it is a 2025 daily planner. And I've been trying to make sure that I use this as often as I can to give myself all sorts of ideas and milestones. And I've found that just the simple act of writing something down to is like something to do or a thought I had, even if I don't refer back to it, really, really helps me stay accountable or remember that idea. So that's something that I think is really useful. I think it was really kind of drilled into me growing up that you need to refer back to notes, or you need to actually do something with what you write down in order for it to be worth it. But that's not really the case, at least for me, because just simply the act of writing something down puts it in a different part of my memory where it's more easy to pluck back out and say, okay, like this is manageable. This is something that I can just really do quickly and take care of, or I can do X, Y, Z to be able to get to this bigger thing that I want to do. And it feels really good to just have that list. I also use the notes function on my phone. For me, it's Keep Notes since I'm an Android person, but it kind of is digital equivalent to this. If I don't have that with me, because I tend to not really carry a lot when I go out in public, then I can either just like set a voice note or make a list and keep it right there on my home screen. So I either know to put it in the book or just refer back to that to figure out what I need to do. And that's been really nice when I remember. I think the last thing that goes along with this is you have to be kind to yourself. Everybody is going to have things that they fall short of, times where anxiety or stress or pressure gets the best of them. And it can be really easy in those moments to just kind of spiral or feel like you're back to square one or worse than where you started, but that's never the case. It really isn't. You learn, you progress by stumbling. Walking is falling one foot in front of the other until you get really good at it. It's the same thing. And it's really, really hard to embrace that when it's not, when it's not something familiar yet. But now I get really excited to have those opportunities because to me, I've kind of twisted that nerve to say that like, oh, okay, like this is somewhere where I dropped off or I didn't really do it. I really must have needed that time to recover or do whatever else I needed to, or focus on myself other than what I needed to do. And now that I've taken care of that, I can try this again. And it's going to be really exciting to see how it succeeds. How it succeeds. How it succeeds. How it succeeds. So, whether you're making a YouTube channel or trying to create something on your own or trying to change something in your life or just do something as simple as be a little bit more kind to yourself. Remember that the parts of your life, the times when you try and don't do as well as you want to, are just as important as the times where you hit that milestone or land on your feet. Because a lot of times you wouldn't be able to do it without those other times. So be kind to yourself. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of what you are doing and what you're learning and the things that you're trying, even if you're failing at them. I'm happy for you. Now, if you've made it this far in the video, I am happy you're still here, even if you're asleep. But if you are awake, this week's secret code is this emoji right here. To be honest, I haven't decided what that's going to be yet, but I think once I get off the video, I have some idea. And I want to thank you all for watching. Again, leaving a comment especially really helps me. And I'm excited to show you some of the content I have in the coming weeks based off of some of your comments already. But until then, sleep well, and thank you for watching.